watching one of the Srila Guru Maharaj's subtitled videos in the temple room just a couple of days ago, and we listened to the recordings. We try to have living morning programs, so a little different. Not every day is exactly the same. Still, even if every day is exactly the same, still it is all good because it's not exactly the same. We are going through the holy books, the holy songs, the Maha Mantra, exactly the same Maha Mantra. And as Guru Maharaj humbled my dear senior and friend Dayada Gauranga, who is a lively character, lively person, he humbled him very sweetly, I mean, in a very affectionate way. And Dayada Gauranga, that person I'm referring to, devotee, he happily was humbled by Guru Maharaj. He's saying, Guru Maharaj, every year we seem to be doing the same things. We're doing the same things again and again. And Dayada, he was, or Chintaman is not with us today, but he's a Texan, and he was born in an airplane, and he was very speedy his whole life. So like he's always trying to go forward for something new, whatever it may be. And Guru Maharaj, he said to Dayada, he said, yes, this is a measure of how much we are doing actual seva, how much we are connected with the upper world, will be that every time we're doing something, it is ever new, ever fresh. And then Dayada Gauranga said, okay, I understood what Guru Maharaj is saying to me here. You know, I'm in the mundane plane, therefore it feels repetitive. So he accepted that happily. Narayani, Nadia, Devi, Dasi, welcome.
Dhanavad Maharaj.
We haven't seen you for a long time. We hope you're okay.
Yes, busy.
Busy. Okay, but
Yeah.
You weren't born in an airplane?
Nope.
Okay. So don't fly too much in the sky. Anyway, we're happy to hear you're busy. Many devotees are the opposite. Means not just devotees, people. I mean, people, inhabitants of planet Earth, because they're on short time or don't have a job at all. And non-devotees have a very hard time to adjust to that. They don't know what to do if they don't go to work. What to speak of how to pay the bills if they don't go to work. So it's a big transition time. So we must be grateful for what we have. And so if we have things to keep us busy, that's a good thing. All right. So we are together. Oh, there we are. We can see you. Almost we can see you now. Very dark. Dandavad.
I can't hold two hands right now.
Say again?
I said I can't hold up two hands right now, so I look like a Buddhist.
Oh, okay. You can meditate on one hand clapping or something like this while you're holding the phone.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. All right, so first of all, we're 5 minutes, we're 10 minutes in, more than 10 minutes in. So let's just give our obeisances together. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And I did have, I can't say a promise, but we did have two devotees from London who said, oh, we'll join you tomorrow for the back to basics. But it may have proven just a little too early for them in London. In London it's now 3:15, so maybe a little too early. So we're together. And one thing I'd like to say, first of all, that over the last couple of days, I've listened to 3 or 4, however many children's stories have been sent to me. And now you can tell how much time I spent yesterday cycling in the countryside here, because I put the headphones in and I was listening to the children's stories. And yes, Shakira was there with the little children. but the stories are by Devashish, by Shama Sundari, and by Indulekha.
Indulekha Didi in
And I
London.
was thinking it was going to be Indulekha of Russia, Salt Lake City, Texas, wherever she feels she's from now. But it was our British Indulekha. So we were surprised to hear that. And everyone's a good storyteller. This is another thing. And patient, so patient with the children. And you see how much patience we have to have with the children when their attention span is like quite small. But then you see, at the end, the children seem to remember things that they've heard. I mean, how deeply they remember, that's another thing. But they seem to remember things that they've heard, and they have willing, feeling, and thinking. Guess what? So we're also the children of our masters, and we can think how tolerant was Guru Maharaj, practically, talking to children, even though he's the topmost professor of the topmost university. And then how tolerant was Gurudev, who mixed with us all, more than Guru Maharaj. I mean, Gurudev is the one who mixed with us actually, but Guru Maharaj, still our little example with Dayara Gauranga just now, answering questions and many things. Guru Maharaj tolerating us, Gurudev tolerating us, but like a mother to a child, they're tolerating nonsense of the children, but they're not they're not categorizing it as tolerance. It is with affection. It is a natural thing that they are trying to get the children to understand. So we have to accept we are the children of our masters. We are the children of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. And they tolerated us, but actually what was the ingredient really? They had an affection for us, and seeing our condition, they had compassion on us. So they tried to bring us up properly. Oh, who I missed out in the storytelling was Bhakti Lalita. She sent that recording.
It was
Hare
a
Krishna.
beautiful video, yes, beautiful.
And of course, I didn't see the video because I had it in my ear, but listening is theater of the mind. And our process is to listen. All right, I've already told you all my stories from when I was younger. How radio was much more alive than the television. That was my very first impression when we eventually got a TV. It was very restricting. It actually took away so much that the listening to the radio gave a much broader picture. And Guru Maharaj says, we see by hearing. We see by hearing. And this is our spiritual plane. All right, so now here I am. Any question for me or for anyone? Oh, look, a cute little doggy. Oh, it's a cat. That's the other way around. Sorry, little cat. Hare Krishna. Any question from anybody? Jivana, yes. Or a contribution. Jivana's, yes.
No, if nobody had another question, there's just something I always kind of wonder to get if there's possible to get more clarity on it. Is singing that song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, "Alas for those who spend their days in festive mirth and joy, the dazzling, deadly liquid forms, their hearts for air employ." And then there's a verse in there that says, "Forget the past that sleeps, and ne'er the future dream at all, but act in times that are with thee, and progress thee shall call." And I just was wondering if you could explain or expound a little bit on the forget the past that sleeps. That has always been kind of a little murky for me. I mean, a lot of things we remember from the past that are very good for us, and I know there must be some differences, but how exactly would you address that?
Wait 1 second. So living in the present, this is very much the theme there. And it's not that we don't learn from the past, but whatever we've got at the present is the reality, and the past is relevant to the extent that it has brought us to where we are, but we can't go back to the past, and it is a little bit like a dream. And I remember one thing, talking about when we were young, when I first got a job, when I'm a student, and then you want to get some money, and then you're going, and you're working with adults. So, essentially, even though a 15-year-old may think that they're an adult, because every 15-year-old knows everything, right? But, we're actually working with adults. And one of the things was, they seem to be always living in the past, or when I was this, and I did that, and, then this. Well, what about the present? I was always kind of thinking, what about the present? They're always thinking in the past. So this is one thing that, just to reminisce on the past. I mean, we do this in relation to Guru and positive things, but this is to try to make us in the present realize that the Guru and positive things are continuing with us. But the past is the past. It's like the history book, reading the history of, United States, which is a few days old in the modern world, a few weeks old in terms of time. But it's like reading the history of what took place. But what's happening now? This is the important part of our life, and the future is more or less like a dream. That okay, when I pass my exam, then I will do that, then I will do that. But right now we have to give attention to our present position. So it's not that we don't aspire for pure devotion. It's not we don't aspire for the mercy of the Lord. But at this moment, we want to try to be making the best use of that time. So neither are we sitting back and just lolling around in memories of the past, thinking how wonderful it was then, but doing nothing now. And neither are we just thinking, I'm waiting for causeless mercy. I must be a candidate. After all, 1 in a billion gets it, so why not me? That instead of waiting around for causeless mercy, we need to be active, maybe active internally, but active in the present. And one thing, I have something which I have to always adjust, that we did spend a long time with Gurudev. If we look at the history, if I look at the history books, we spent many years in India, spent many years like that, not just India, means with Gurudev, every morning in his room, doing correspondence, and in the earlier days, doing so many things with Gurudev. But the time of the material world passes, and we want to keep the present day with Gurudev, not just in the history books. So whatever's happened in the past, we want to try to make that build to our present day consciousness. And whatever aspirations we have for the future, which should really only be the spiritual aspirations. And in this material world, we're repeatedly told, and by now we almost understand, there is nothing of any value in this material world. Within the next few months, we're going to leave every drop of it behind. The only thing of value is the association with the devotees, the service to the devotees headed by Guru, headed by Gauranga, but by Guru Vaishnava. So we want to try to live in the present with the wealth of our experience from the past, and with the aspiration of the pure aspiration of the devotional life in the future. But the present, and at any moment, if our situation has to change, then we'll accept that change, and then we say, yes, but here I am. I'm here to serve. How can I serve? not to dwell on the past. When I was young, and I know I sound like that sometimes, I'm very sorry to all of you. Madhavi, welcome all the way from Colombia.
Dandavat Maharaj, dear
Dandavat.
list Maharaj, Dandavat for everybody, for every devotees of the world.
Jai.
Pranams, pranams.
Pranams, pranam.
How are you, Maharaj?
Yes, we're happy because we're with devotees. And actually, we are happy because, can you hear me? Okay?
I know.
Little bit. Anyway, we're happy because we're with devotees. And actually, this is a happy time of year for us. Well, for me anyway, for us, because we've got Gurudev's Vyasa Puja coming up. And actually, this is something I wanted to kind of share a little bit today, that I know that his Vyasa Puja is 1 week and a day away, in fact. But by this time in Navadip, this is a very joyful time where devotees will be arriving together, preparing all sorts of things taking place for Gurudev's Vyasa Puja. And so year after year, we can say we had not just a 1 or 2 day festival, but it was very much like an extended festival for Gurudev's Vyasa Puja. And what I would just like to say is that, for the devotees, the Guru's appearance is, the best day of the year. And it's not just a day when we think, oh, happy birthday, Gurudev, and make a nice feast of which we will partake in. But it's a day really which is the climax of many days. And so Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja, Gurudev's Vyasa Puja, the Vyasa Puja of the spiritual masters, this is like a joyful time. So Madhavi, you are asking, how are we? Then I can say we're feeling very like a little bit enlivened, happy for this fact that this day is coming up. And actually, everybody must have observed it, but it's a very auspicious beginning to 2021 that we can have Srila Gurudev's Vyasa Puja on the 1st of January. And we must do something on the eve of Vyasa Puja. And that's called the Adivas Day, the eve of any big festival. We should do something, otherwise there is some fault on our part, as Srila Gurudev points out, and he points this out from the scripture. So New Year's Eve for us, we will be absorbed in some Harikatha, some preparations, Guru Katha, these things. New Year's Day will be that best day of the year. And then the next day, we're going to do a virtual pilgrimage, actual pilgrimage to Bamonpara, Gurudev's birthplace. And then the next day is Srila Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disappearance day. So this is a very auspicious beginning to 2021, despite what everybody may be gloomy about the environment, which isn't, the environment is not going to get better unless the people of the world get better. So we're a bit hopeless about that. So forget about the environment. We are concerned with the devotees' environment, and that sincere persons will have the opportunity to find the door, find the place that we can go to join the devotee department where we can get some relief. So Vyasa Puja is coming up, and tomorrow is Christmas Day, which I think all of us have been brought up somewhere along the way. I think all of us are brought up with Srila Prabhupada's books. We've come to Krishna consciousness through Srila Prabhupada's books. We are reading Prabhupada's books every day, and every day we are reading his books. And we cannot neglect to note Srila Prabhupada's comments about Christianity and talking with the Christian priests and being questioned about Jesus. And Prabhupada saying, be Christian, but be a Christian. Close the slaughterhouses. Thou shalt not kill. Let's start with the very basics. And it's amazing that some barrier across the world that doesn't allow people to understand, the sinfulness of killing innocent animals. I had a discussion with Goswami Maharaj when we were in Thailand a long time ago in the past, and here we are, Jivana, thinking about the past. But we take the good things from the past. We had a discussion. How is it that all the way in the scripture it says that the lowest of humans, the lowest of people, the dog eaters? How is it come it doesn't say cow eaters? And Goswami Maharaj said, I also puzzled about this because it was, kind of my question, but we were just discussing together in the morning. He said, I also puzzled about this. And he said, I can only think it doesn't mention cow eaters because it is so unthinkable that anybody would eat a cow. But, dog eaters, there must have been dog eaters. And we've been to places, Cambodia, where they literally have restaurants with, the dog menu and the paintings of the dogs on the, how they have paintings of fish to get everybody salivating. They've got paintings of dogs, on the thing. So it goes on. And you really can think that is low class. But cow eating, I mean, it's from Goswami Maharaj, he said, I can only think that it's because it was so unthinkable that anybody would eat a cow, that it mentions dog eaters as the lowest people. But you see, it's come to worse than dog eaters. So, about Jesus, Srila Prabhupada in particular, we will say, because we've been, as you say, brought up on his books and reading his articles and hearing talks by him. And repeatedly Christians are coming to him and he's saying, yes, Jesus is Guru, the Son of God, teaching us how to love God, but be a Christian. And he basically comes to this point. If you're eating the cows, if you're eating the meat, if you're with slaughterhouses, how can you understand anything further? So start at the beginning. So Jesus, for time, place, and circumstances, he's presenting to us love of God in the installment that he's giving, the capacity he's giving to the persons at the time. And in Navadip, then happily Guru Maharaj also accepted Christmas cake made by the devotees. And this was really on a very funky oven. They have in India, in the villages, there is, to try to be modern, they do have available an oven system. And the oven, I'll take off my little gloves. The oven is basically a tin box inside another tin box, on little legs inside another tin box. That second tin box has a hole in the bottom. You put that over the fire goes up and the heat goes around in the smaller tin box and then comes out the chimney at the top. And it's just a small thing. It's not very big. And they purchase this for a few rupees. I mean, it's tin or aluminum or something. It's something like very super, super cheap and fragile. And, bless the devotees' hearts. They went to a lot of trouble to make Christmas cake. And this is in the time of Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj was gently amused. And we were there and given to Guru Maharaj this Christmas cake. Hare Krishna. And I can also, should I confess something? Well, it wasn't my fault. The only time that I knowingly have had any alcohol, okay, what? In all these years was the devotees 1 year, unbelievably, they made brandy butter. But I had no idea it was brandy butter is traditional, at least in Europe. They make brandy butter to put on the Christmas cake or on Christmas pudding, maybe. Anyway, whatever it is. And anyway, I said, then we took this as like wasn't the prasadam time, it was something in the afternoon, the devotees all having. And then I said, amazing, the devotees are so clever. How does it taste like brandy butter? And then find out that actually they got brandy in. I mean, obviously it's only a tiny bit. It was before your time, Cinmoy Dev Prabhu. It wasn't you who did it. It was somebody. I know exactly who put it in. But it was also the sweetness of the devotees, trying to bring the kind of simple joy in the Western world to the Christmas cheer in Navadip to make the devotees at home. Hare Krishna. And Narayani also stayed quite some time in Navadip when she was young, but it was also before your time. It was in the time, that was in the time of Guru Maharaj, that brandy butter incident. Sorry, devotees, I didn't tell who did it, so then we're okay. Hare Krishna. Anyway, it's this kind of time of year, and so at least some stress today about the importance of Guru and how we can take Guru for granted. And we think, yes, we know this, we know this. If it wasn't for Guru and Guru Vaga, we wouldn't know anything. We'd be speculating. We'd be in the world of without a rudder. We'll be in the ocean on our boat without a rudder. And so really we've got the navigator, the captain of the ship through Guru. And about Jesus and Christ, then Srila Prabhupada certainly says Christ comes from Krishna or Christos, which comes from Krishta, which is referring to God. Something like this, I remember. But Srila Prabhupada is very clear that Jesus is saying about God and he's saying about Krishna, but it has become little changed over the years, something like that. So still, at the end of the day, we are always hearing, it is not a question of a name of a religion. All religions are coming to teach us love of God. And as Gurmar said, where we get the clear description, the sincere person will naturally go there, not throwing stones anywhere, but it is a natural thing that will come forward. And I can say in my own life, then when I read Bhagavad Gita, I strongly felt this is what Jesus was teaching, but our local priest did not know. Really, it was like that. And the Bhagavad Gita, as it is, was so clear. Bhagavad Gita, hidden treasure, so clear. But the purports for first-time readers, the commentaries by Srila Prabhupada, definitely help us to understand many things we take for granted. Cinmoy Dev Prabhu, you had a hand up before?
Krishna, it's a Greek word meaning love. And Prabhupada suggests that possibly that's where the Christians got the term Christ. And there's like a variation of Krishna that some people use for Krishna, apparently.
Well, in Bengal, Krishna Das becomes Kashto.
Yeah, Krishna.
Kashto.
But there is a question in the chat.
There is, Acha. Chat, click, question. Oh, long question. Question from Rupa Vilas. Oh, where's Rupa Vilas today?
He's watching.
He's following on Facebook.
Huh? Oh, he's on Facebook.
He's following on Facebook and he posted the question.
Oh, okay. So Rupa Vilas, I'm happy to know you're there. I don't have a Facebook open, so I don't know who's on Facebook. So whoever's on Facebook too, we're happy to have you with us. And actually, we know it's being recorded. And so, whoever comes to join us, we're very happy to have you with us on our obeisances. And one thing about our Zoom is, we feel interactive, that it's not one person is just chatting, giving a lecture or something. We're not in a lecture zone. We're in a interaction zone. So Rupa Vilas Prabhu, happy to have you with us on Facebook. So he's saying nowadays the chanting of the holy names of the Lord is quite popular. Acha, good. And some known personalities are chanting through their songs and are followed. But on the other hand, we heard from Sri Guru and his grace about Namabhas and its effect. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta has forewarned us that chanting of the imitationists is like thunder to the Lord. Now my question is, what is the proper conduct and understanding of the apparent chanting of some persons but has not taken shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Gurudev? Should we still listen to them? Isn't it a kind of milk tasted by a poisonous snake theory? Acha. Okay, Rupa Vilas Prabhu, we have heard your question. Yes, I mean, yes, the answer is generally we should try to avoid hearing from non-devotees, even the name of the Lord. Now we have to give a little generousness to the innocence, if you like, of the Western world, that we haven't got a proper clue of what we're doing until we come to Guru, actually Guru, Vaishnava, Shastra. And even then, we have to hear from them and then adjust our point of view. So, you can say the innocently, oh, they're following a personality who's famous. And of course, in our younger time, it was George Harrison. The Beatles were like world famous. And I'm quite surprised they still are world famous, because they are in the history books, following Jivana's question earlier on. I mean, they really are from the past. But I'm surprised that even young people today, then they seem to know about Jesus. Yes, they know about Jesus. They know about the Beatles. And so, George Harrison and the Beatles, they had the Hare Krishnas up on the stage with them, and they were chanting Hare Krishna. But they were under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada. They didn't chant Hare Krishna and then mix up with a whole bunch of names of demigods and, really just a hodgepodge of things. So again, some guidance was there. And how much that under the guidance of Guru, you can say they are following the guidance of Srila Prabhupada, whether officially or unofficially initiated, and they've got devotees there. But we've been definitely in some of these public programs where we are invited to go and speak day after day, these like programs which happen in the Eastern Western world as well as in the USA. And really, that to hear that hodgepodge of just all kind of names, it is almost like this is in the category that you, Rupa Vilas Prabhu, were mentioning, that we should close our ears and not hear this. Hare Krishna. The safe thing is we will try to keep ourselves amongst the devotee section, and those who are singing around the campfire, Hare Krishna while smoking dope and all that stuff. We kind of keep some distance from that, because it's sahaja, it's imitation, it's unreal, it's not the proper method. And we're in India, we were at, that Kumbh Mela thing, all sorts of things going on. We definitely don't take association. As far as possible, we try to give association. But in this world, if there's something that triggers people to think, then we'll be on the generous side of things. But as far as possible, we'll try to hear from the devotees. And almost, we are tolerating when we hear others, and we want to try to adjust them to understand what they're singing, and try to see, well, if you want to take this seriously, you should take guidance from Guru and Vaishnava and not just hodgepodge it together, or take anybody as Guru, because they can say, oh yes, I read Swami this and book, and he says if I chant any names and all this, that and the other, then it's the same. And even you see in apparently Gaudiya line, when we go to Puri, when we are on pilgrimage, we have to tell the devotees, we are going into this temple, we are on pilgrimage here, but now, before you go in, put on some filters on your ears. Don't hear the kirtan that they are doing here. Even though it's the names of Mahaprabhu and Krishna, it is heavily disapproved by Srila Saraswati Thakur, by Guru, and naturally by Guru Maharaj, by Guru Dev. And we've heard heavily from Guru Maharaj. We've heard heavily from Guru Dev. They make again, you can say unauthorized, a hodgepodge, missing rasa bas. This is mixing the mellows, mixing the rasas in a improper way in the chanting of Gauranga and Radha Krishna's names. So even that's not mixing in Deva's names, etc., and making it just a general hodgepodge, but that is the wrong, disapproved method of chanting the names of the Supreme Lord. So as much as possible, we want to guard ourselves. And another point about that is, you see, that the devotees may come to the holy Dham, and if they're not given a little bit of a caution, as Gurudev and Guru Maharaj want that everyone is cautioned, then they're going to think, oh, in the holy Dham, they're singing like this, and then before you know where you are, then in the West, you'll find even our devotees singing something which is disapproved strongly. We have seen that disapproved strongly by Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. And hence, not exactly only for this reason, but Mahaprabhu gave that advice to Jagadananda Pandit when he's going to Vrindavan. He's saying 3 things. Do not mix closely with the inhabitants of the holy Dham. Do not imitate what they are doing. Don't think, oh, I will do what they are doing. And the third advice he gave was, do not put your feet on Govardhan hill. And he was going to Govardhan, Jagadananda Pandit. And even we can say, the name of Radharani, the highest conception, the highest goal, that we'll be cautious to take her name. And how much Gurudev disapproved if the devotees start to say, like the rickshaw drivers and everybody in Vrindavan, when they are saying her name, like very lightly for every single situation, disapproved by Gurudev. But I mean, disapproved that our devotees will start saying like that. Oh, that definitely makes Gurudev unhappy. So we must always be under guidance, try to hear the name under guidance, and put a filter over our ears for other things. So we cannot avoid, we are walking in the streets and hearing the name in a way disapproved by our masters, but we'll cover our ears, subtly speaking, and let that pass by, and we'll keep what we know our masters want. We'll keep that at the front, the forefront. But I don't know who the personalities are who are singing bhajan now. I hardly know the personalities. So, again, we don't know if they actually have some connection. We know some pop stars. In the past, at least, they did actually have some connection. And they were reading Srila Prabhupada's books, Guru Maharaj's books. And we know one pop star, she now died, unfortunately. I mean, of course, unfortunately, because she died young, but everyone's going to die. But she came to Guru Maharaj, came to see Guru Maharaj. And in Russia, we have a pop star right now who's devotee and very sincere person. And she's using her influence, but the regular public may not know that she is actually a devotee. She's initiated and, and she's very famous in Russia. And when she came to Vrindavan, even though I knew, I'd been told who she was, I never gave any hint that I knew who she was. And so I just completely treated her like an ordinary person. I mean, she is we are all ordinary people. But I completely treated her, just like, every other devotee. And basically only the day she was leaving from Vrindavan, then, she's wearing rather expensive clothes to leave. But apart from that, she was wearing the regular clothes, and nobody could tell that she was, a known personality. But she is until today also a known personality in Russia, and she uses that influence, like the popularity, in a proper way. And she's a very sober person. Yes, Cinmoy Dev.
Well, we can also learn from the instruction or the example set by Saraswati Thakur when he told us he was not interested in hearing a sweet tune.
Indeed, yes. That's in another quantum category, if you like. Yes. Krishna, Krishna. Narayani, Devi, Dasi, because we have you with us today, please share something. I expect you were in Navadip. You must have been in Navadip on at least one, maybe 2 or 3 Gurudev's Vyasa Pujas. Share a little something with us, because you may not be with us always. you pop up sometimes. So now we've got you. We want to hear from you something, please.
I'm like Jai Dandavat. I don't believe I was there ever in December. So I was never there for Srila Govinda Maharaj's appearance days or Vyasa Puja days.
Huh.
But I was there for Srila Sridhar Maharaj's, I think, disappearance in 91 in August.
Uh-huh. Yes, August 91. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, all I could do is I think I was there Gorpranim and, Rath Yatra. So I'm a little quiet and shy today as usual.
Okay, then a humble request. Just one comment about a festival in Navadip, Gaurapunim or the disappearance, but a festival. What stands out in your mind, perhaps, as a very happy thing, something to keep us encouraged today?
Well, every festival that I was at in Navadip or India, always Madhusudan Maharaj was there. Directing everything, telling even me how to be and how to, what everything was. And so when I hear his Holy Lotus voice, I always know that he's like most direct and, most best for anything to know. Sorry, I'm a little silly and off guard today, but
Mahananda Prabhu.
yeah, Mahananda Prabhu. All the good questions. First, I ask Mahananda Prabhu, then my sister, and very, very shyly have I ever spoken to Gurudev. So I was pretty young, but I'd say 1991 September, it was Radhastami when I was there. So and I believe Gurudev sang on Srila Sridhar Maharaj's veranda, and that was incredibly beautiful. So I mean, the festival days always, everyone's excited, everybo's, I think it's the sweetest days. Everybody's participating, everybody's coming from all around. And God, I'm really kind of shy and quiet today, sorry. But I think I remember Radhastami, and I think Mahananda Prabhu that time says, you know, if all the devotees come together and serve nicely and Krishna is pleased, you know, then we'll get some nice auspicious rain at the end of the festival. And then Gurudev also said that, and then right after Radhastami that year, there was this incredibly beautiful like sun shower, you know. So yeah, I'm here to hear and listen and get motivated again.
Narayani, we're very happy to hear from you and to be in those festivals. And actually, I don't know if it was 1991 Radhastami, but one of the Radhastamis in the early days, and it could have been a little earlier also, but anyway, one of those Radhastamis, and it was about that time, I actually chipped my tooth. And then until today, I mean, of course, teeth don't, I mean, at our age, teeth don't grow back. So I still have a place that my tongue wants to go. You know, how the tongue, it seems to have its own mind with the chipped tooth. I still have that. And so that is my constant reminder, oh, Radhastami. And then we would joke in Navadip, you know, how actually you see they eat with their hands in Bengal. And so it does have a function of you find the stone before you get them in your mouth. But we would say, oh, we're in the holy dham. So, you know, we've chipped our tooth, or, you know, usually you bite and you don't chip a tooth, but, you know, sometimes it happens. And then, but we say, oh, we've got some chintamani from the holy dham, you know, because we can't say it's ordinary rocks. And they've come from our fields. That rice comes from our fields. So there we are. And our rocks are in the holy dham. So that was one memory of one Radhastami in
Now you have
Navadip.
one very holy tooth from one very holy day.
Aha. It's a surprise remembrance. Yes, a holy tooth from a holy day. Two uses of holy. Well done, Narayani.
I mean, since Gurudev's appearance day is coming up, I mean, my biggest memory of is when I probably first had my first interaction with him. That was like, you know, just me. I was like 14 years old, and we were in Jagannath Puri, and he was crossing the sand with Purnananda Prabhu, and we just had a conversation with my mother and sister, like, you know, Narayani wants to take initiation. And he's like, okay, you know, on such and such day. And then, you know, and I'm just like, my eyes are like, I'm just amazed to be in India. And then I'm coming back from the temple, crossing the sands to go back to the guest house. And all of a sudden I looked up and I'm halfway across the sand, and Purnananda Prabhu and Gurudev are, you know, walking right there next to each other. And because I'm such an awkward 14-year-old, you know, I didn't know what to do, and I was so shy that I just looked at the sand and pretended that they weren't there and just kept my head down, because I didn't want to like do dandavats in the sand for some reason. I didn't know what to do. I got so uncomfortable, and so I quickly just like ran across the sand and pretended like they weren't there, got across the street to the pavement, turned around to look to make sure they weren't looking, and they were both sitting there looking at me, smiling, laughing. So I got really nervous and did dandavats, and then like ran inside the gates, and they were like just laughing at me. So I mean, to me that was like the first personal relationship that I had, where, you know, instead of taking, I was like so awe and reverence, you know, and then Gurudev's laughing at my silliness, my weirdness. And then so many times like I'll have like a thought and like be in a thought, and then he'll like just turn around and answer, you know, say things to me about even what I'm thinking about, which was always like pretty special, actually. So.
Jai. Very beautiful. And Puri is a place that Gurudev, really, he was happy to be there. And those early days too, I mean, very happy. The mission became very big, or the number of devotees became very big, and Gurudev got lots of headaches, more and more headaches. I mean, I don't mean physical headaches, but more and more challenges. Yeah. But he was quite worry-free. And in Puri, really, he was very relaxed. We saw that.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Hare Krishna.
I remember there's this one parikram that we went to where maybe a god brother has this temple like by the beach, and it's a beautiful temple, beautiful courtyard. But he actually kind of he gave a talk to us before we went on this parikram. I think he showed up later during the parikram, but he was saying how the cows are really special because these cows are like huge, like they're almost, you know, like from another yuga. They're so huge. Do you know the story behind those cows or that temple?
No, I'm waiting to hear from you. Excuse me. Waiting to hear from you.
I don't remember. I was too young.
Most of the cows in Puri are the opposite. They're kind of small.
Yeah, he was saying how
Look,
it's very
Narayani,
special.
Limca bottle, still from India, but water, there's only water in it.
Where are you right now? You're in India? Vrindavan?
I'm in a little bit of Navadip, which has like broken off from Navadip and has floated to northern Italy. I'm in Villa Govinda in northern Italy.
Okay, I've been seeing pictures.
And because of the programs, because of the mood and the atmosphere, really it feels like Navadip. And so a little bit of Navadip has floated here. And it would be beautiful if all of our centers and temples, this is Gurudev's vision, that they will all be like representing Navadip, not only in like the program, but in the mood, the activities and everything. So we're in Navadip, but Italian Navadip.
Nice.
Hare Krishna.
Hi.
But with my, you see our possessiveness, Limca bottle from India, for no particular reason, except it just has been with me ever since Jagannath Puri. I was in Jagannath Puri, and then that's when the COVID thing all suddenly came up. They closed the temple, and then within 2 days, I was in Thailand, even though I was expecting to come actually over to America, I believe, at that time. Everything changed dramatically within like 2 days with the world, not with me, but with the world.
Yeah, well, when was that?
March of this year, March.
Okay.
Still
Yeah.
this year for another week.
Yeah, kind of a very funny, intense time.
Yes, but we have to take every wave as good. We know that. And so the devotees are doing so, while having sympathy, empathy for those who are affected, because people are affected, no doubt. Anything from anybody? Sorry, Narayani?
I find it really wonderful and nice because now on WhatsApp you can have I have like different groups, and you can pretty much go on so many different classes right now. Like Chintamani and Dev, they have a group, and then they're having you on there, and then they're sharing so much. And then, you know, I've been listening to a little bit of Keshava Maharaj when I have, you know, time. Sometimes I don't log into anything, but then there's times where I could watch, listen, or be a part of like 3 or 4 classes a day.
Yeah.
So the plus of times like this.
Right. And for different speakers around the world, in Spanish, in Russian, in Chinese. And now you see where we always, before we had to be physically near a temple or somewhere so we can go to participate. Now we can join in happily. And now we're getting a glimpse of South Africa, the Johannesburg suburbs. Just see. And here is night. Oh, you it's day because it's the southern hemisphere. So you are at your longest day and we are at our shortest day. This is the world. Okay, anyway, in a gentle way, we sort of hope to stress something about the importance of Guru today and the build-up for the festival. I mean, really, we're just sharing together. And this week, I happily heard all those children's programs, and I hope that you'll keep sending me the audios or the links so we can hear, because when we're doing things, then sometimes things we do don't need our our mental attention so much, and we can listen. And the headphones are our friends if we use them properly. And they're our enemies if we don't use them properly. Just like our computers and our mobile phones and our everything. Without computers, mobile phones, and headphones, still we're not free. We have energy in this world. Energy needs to be used nicely. And we need to remind ourselves why we came, that we understood, okay, now somebody in the world, some place in the world, we can go where they know how we can use our energy properly. And then came to Guru, and then how much we are hungry to have that connection with Guru and surrender, shelter. We must remember all these things from the past to make our present ever present, active, and fuel for the present. Okay, Jivana? One word from Jivana of advice, not as a question, because really, she is our senior most devotee. Even though looking 21, she's actually our senior most devotee here. Jivana, please, with all honor, please share something with us to keep us going shortly.
Well, I liked Narayani's point that she made, that in this time, one really big bonus that we're getting that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise is we do get a lot of association. In some ways, we may even be getting more association with some of the devotees than we would have otherwise. So that's a really a positive side. And like how you were saying, actually everything is friendly that's coming from the environment. The environment's our friend. And there's always a friendly hand behind everything. So that's always a good thing also to remember, and really to try and remember that, especially at different times when we're like, wow, what's going on? But if you can just be take a little bit of shelter of Gurudev's instructions and think about the friendly hand behind everything, it's very wonderful.
Jai. Krishna is friendly, Guru is friendly, the Vaishnava is friendly. The environment is friendly to the devotees. All right, dear devotees, let us chant the Jais, big Jais. Jai Shri Om Vishnu Par, Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda, Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, and Jai, big Jais to Om Vishnu Par, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar, Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. And by the way, I was thinking of his Samadhi Mandir in Puri when I was mentioning about one of the places where we don't hear today the current chanting of the holy name, even at Haridas Thakur's Samadhi, the Nama Acharya. So this is why we always need to be, under the guidance of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj's, clear instruction wherever we go. Even at Haridas Thakur's Samadhi in the present time, it is we should filter out what we hear as apparently the holy name being chanted there. You see how vivid an example we have there. So Jai Srila Haridas Thakur, Nama Charja ki Jai, and Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Shri Prapana Jivanamritam ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, all our present day Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda ki Jai, and all the assembled and worldwide devotees ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari, Hari Bol. And my Dandavat Pranam to all who are with us now and all who will be watching and with us in the future too, in the recorded version. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. My Dandavat Pranam, and wishing you very special days in the lead up to Gurudev's Vyasa Puja. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Maharaj.
Dandavat, yes, Madhvi, to each one of you. Special dandavats and happiness to be with each of you. Govinda,
Thank you,
Govinda,
Maharaj.
Govinda.
Merry
Govinda,
Krishna,
Govinda to
Maharaj.
you.
Merry Krishna.
Merry Krishna. Krishna is always merry. We'll have to come up with some proper Siddhantic happy Krishna's Day, Christmas Day. But yes, let us try to influence family and friends who come around. They all know that we're devotees. So let us join the spirit and just give a little introduction, help them to be seeing what Jesus gave. All right, enough from me. Please excuse my presence. Dandavat, Dandavat. Ashchi, as they say in Bengal. I am coming, not bye-bye, but we are coming again soon.
Dandavats, Maharaj.
Cinmoy Dev Prabhu.
Bad.
Who's
Dandavad.
calling?
Chintamani.
Huh?
We've been here creeping on the lines. I even myself. Haribol Dandavat. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to say Haribol to senior devotees. Hare Krishna Maharaj Dandavat.
No, you can say Haribol to me. I love walking. One thing about Calcutta, one crazy city, but you're thinking all sorts of things. But then in Calcutta, so many people, they will say to you, Haribol. Oh yes, I need to chant the name of Hari. Thank you for reminding me. All right, thank you for reminding me. Have special days. Dandavat, Dandavat.